Manny Scorpioned on the side of a van.
Oh, wow. Yeah, did you not see me there, dude?
Hi.
Hello, Rutan.
That's in the Americas.
Chrysler Town and Country, how you doing? Yeah, it's Cali plate. Sprinter.
He's pissed.
Rapido. With a fake hood scoop and a deer.
Oh, shit. That's intense.
Oh, here's this guy. I think I can. I definitely cannot. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 184 of the Camcast. Woo! Yay!
My name's Zach.
Goddamn. Well, his name is Zach, and he was told to fuck himself at a Ford dealership.
That I did.
God, we'll get to you in a minute.
I got stories.
Good. Let's see. I am Mike, deer leader, dog taste leader of men, herder of cats, so on and so forth, etc., etc. And I am joined, as always, to my right by the one, the only, the professor of the ghetto arts, tenured but not licensed. You're mine, our Uncle Radical. We call him Scoots because of the adorable way he drags his ass on the carpet. He's Dave Raleigh. I'm helping. We already introduced Zach.
Present.
And we are still joined, for reasons that we can't quite place.
His flight doesn't leave until tomorrow.
God, against his better judgment, probably. Devin Creasy, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Good.
Happy to have you here.
Yes, we are happy to have you here.
It's good to have people from across the country on this global podcast.
Are we inter the national?
We are international, yes. Good job. You sounded it out.
Great gerb there.
They took our gerbs.
Don't break me before my big moment, okay?
God.
My name's Zach.
Fuck yourself.
Oh, Zach. Anyway.
If his 856-year-old church could be on fire, it would be.
Jesus, push past.
I went to Notre Dame.
Not something to brag about.
Although you are the type of person I feel that would come from Notre Dame.
God.
My hair isn't slicked back enough. I didn't play enough basketball
Because
in
you
high
had a
school.
luchador mask on earlier, that's why.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which, by the way, thank you
You're welcome.
for the luchador masks. Those
Oh.
are intense.
You are welcome. I figured you guys would enjoy them.
I'm going to use them tonight during sex.
Kinky.
As I just put mine on. What the fuck, Dave?
Hold on. You need to just keep that going for a minute.
I don't. This is going into my mouth.
No, I like the way it is.
That was the point. Put it up on your nose. Move it up there a little bit. Yeah, there you go. You doofy
Jesus.
fuck. Oh, my
Don't tell me how
God.
to do this.
We're going to tell you how to do a lot of things. Oh, my God.
What am I doing with my life?
You're reminding me of that,
I can't see it. It smells weird.
you just remind me of that part of Men in Black where the cockroach is in that farmer dude's skin. Good God, Edgar, your skin is hanging off your bones. Is that better?
Damn. All right, we're not recording that problematic ass shit.
Dear God. That
Some
that
things
would
I
get
don't
us-
want on the internet. That's theater of the mind. Just imagine it.
Imagine Jeff.
Jeff.
Imagine Jeff. Jeff is playing with your man.
What the fuck?
I love you, Jeff.
So, I have friends who listen to this, and I have no idea why. Like,
I got friends who listen to this, too, and I've been asking the same question for years.
Wow.
Anyway,
Dave.
at Cam Automag on all the social medias.
Do it!
Sorry.
It's okay. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, like, rate, review, subscribe, so on and so forth. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/CamAutomag. Give us at least $5 a month. You get access to bonus content, our super secret Facebook group where we do a lot of shit posting, and a bunch of other stuff.
And it's also a place where you might be able to get this exact episode and other Thursday episodes before Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're listening to this shit on Wednesday, congratulations.
Gasp.
You're either a wizard, have a time machine, or you're subscribing to us on Patreon.
You're a wizard, Jeff.
Makes my Wednesdays awesome, my Thursdays boring.
Beautiful.
Well, listen.
Good for you. Wow.
Anyway, We didn't do anything last week. Well, I did stuff. I did a lot of
Show off.
drinking. Yeah, yes. Drinking 2 mojitos and 2 margaritas in an hour is quite the feat. At 33, let me tell you how awesome my the day after was.
That sounds easy.
You know, not everybody can be young and nubile as you.
I'm also giant, so like
I got a lot of miles, Zach. I've got a lot of miles on this chassis
you've seen some shit.
and some stuff. Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Right there with you, bud.
God damn it.
Still smells weird. Am I doing it right? There it
Can't
is.
There
imagine
you go.
why.
It's just...
What are you... What?
Why are you staring at me?
I like that you put the headphones back on. Actually, that
Why
really
are
makes
you
this...
staring at me?
That really makes
Why are
this
you
worth...
filming this?
I'm not filming this, I'm just taking a picture.
For those of you that are listening and you can't see what's going on,
The
Oh, yeah, I do that a lot.
mind.
You
Yeah.
need to be following us on Instagram. You
I-
really
at,
do.
At Cam Automag.
Is this how Batman feels?
No, Batman's rich.
I fight crime in a rubber suit all day.
really seals in the flavor. If any of you guys know William Vincent, he showed me that video,
Yeah.
and every now and then I'll text him a little snippet of it,
Yeah.
and then we'll respond for like 2 hours
oh my
back
God,
and forth.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Hey, come here. Which one of these tubes is the one you smell from? Oh, good God, man.
I'll stab you first.
No, I know what you're talking about now.
God damn.
A is for Alfred. B is for bats.
God damn. They're just having a party you can't see.
Play along, children. Play along.
Uh,
We have a question
yes, we do.
from a super
see it.
fan.
Yes. Super fan and handyman, Brandon Kuhn.
Indeed, he is.
God, he is the one who's... He will help us make this table even better.
Absolutely.
Yep. Anyway, so from Brandon Kuhn, inspired by a conversation I heard, you're robbing a bank with the boys. Hey, if you're going to ball at SEMA, you're going to need cash.
True.
Or Coke. The only problem is, what are you driving when you leave the 5-0 in the dust?
Ooh.
Oh, I already know.
All right.
You want me to go right now?
Juan Pablo Senor Mozzarella stick. Okay, go ahead.
Black, not matte black. The black.
So gloss black.
Black.
Okay.
Wow.
Like Wesley Snipes or...
E63 wagon.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
So you're going to do an AMG E63 wagon.
Yes. Because, I got some logic here. This isn't just me pulling a car out of my fucking ass like I normally do.
I figured it would have been a
that-
first-gen turbo 4Runner.
Yeah, please
It's
elaborate.
actually a 1UZ swap 3rd gen. Get your shit straight.
God, I'm sorry.
Okay, so you can fit you and your compadres in it.
Compatriots.
Compadres. The boot is big enough for the stacks of wealth you have acquired.
How many blocks of cash do you have in the boot?
I'm going to mute you again. I'll do it.
Don't be-
And it does fit in more or less. It's not the most... This is so weird. I'm still wearing this.
really wondering how long that was going to continue.
It blends in, but yeah, it's not like you're taking your drift car to rob the bank. Like every cop in the city is going to know what you look like, but you're in a black Mercedes wagon. Like it's a little conspicuous.
Okay.
That's
Fair
my
enough.
logic. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Was I wrong?
no.
Did I win?
I don't think this is something that we larger podcasts with a more active fan base would have fans who would tell people if they won or lost. We're just really just throwing this out there for, I don't know, because we can,
Shits and giggles.
because we're here.
Now, I have an answer, and this is going to sound super cliche because I work for Ford, but I'd probably take an F-150 to 5-liter with a Roush supercharger on it.
Okay.
Because everybody has an F-150, and...
It is the most popular truck sold in the U.S.
Yeah, it is. And so they're everywhere, so it's going to blend in. You put a tonneau cover over the back, toss the bags of cash in the back, and then you're going to blend in wherever you go, but you've also got a supercharger in case you got to
And-
get up and go.
You still have the factory warranty.
That's true. And because it's a truck, if you need to like do some off-roading to escape the popo, like you can.
Yeah, you
you
got
go.
that over me. I'd be stuck there. I wouldn't want to scratch up my AMG wheels.
All right, well, no, you go first.
So, kind of along Devin's line of thinking, something that is just kind of going to fly under the radar but can pack a punch, I was just going to go grab, like, rental color Taurus SHO. So, like, a white or a black,
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
Well, if you get one of like the police interceptor model ones, it doesn't even have like the SHO body or the SHO badges, and it's got like steelies and stuff. So
oh, yeah. But, I mean, even, like, the SHOs, like, it still looks like just another...
it's true. There's nothing really special
Yeah.
appearance wise.
So,
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
I mean, I could go a couple different ways on this. I could kind of piggyback off of yours and kind of cheat, I guess, and say a cop car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Donut Media did their video on it.
Right.
Watch that, and it made good sense.
Yeah, it really did. So, I mean, it would probably be like a P-71 Vic or like an EcoBoost Taurus Police Interceptor, something that is totally decked out in the usual garb to where like it pretty much blends in.
Yeah.
Or now, Brandon, you didn't tell me where this bank is.
Fair
That's
enough.
a good
That's
point.
true.
Because depending where you are, you may choose a different vehicle.
The terrain is huge, right? Okay, say we're knocking off something in like Nogales, Texas, okay? Right? I'm probably going to be driving in like a Chenoweth buggy
Yep.
because I'm going to throw a duffel bag onto the roof, throw a strap over it real quick, bungee cord, just to keep it there. I'm going to hop in this Chenoweth, and I'm going to make a beeline to the same place that the cocaine comes through.
Well, how many seats do those have?
Well, it depends. You can get them with one, you can get them with two, you can even get them with three.
Okay, as I say, because it's supposed to be, you're robbing a bank with the boys.
Yeah,
you gotta
well,
think you got to pack enough people.
How
too.
many of my boys are down with this? Because otherwise, I'd be saying like a bunch of R-53 Coopers, and
Yeah.
we'll just go drive through the sewer.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like they made 2 movies about that.
No, never.
I don't have the images in my mind.
It's interesting.
Is there a helicopter in a bridge or something?
Ditch
Maybe.
Michael Caine.
See, another
Maybe.
thing about location too is not only like the geography, but depending where you're at, there might be another different car that's more blends in differently.
No,
Yeah.
here's the thing. If I was robbing a bank in New York City, I'd be driving a taxi.
Yep.
If I'm robbing a car, or if I'm robbing a bank in downtown Los Angeles, I'm probably driving a Tesla.
Yep.
I could almost might change my answer for if let's say robbing a bank here in Utah might be a good option. R63.
Yeah, an R63. I mean, I see a few of those from time to time. I see a lot of R-Class.
Yeah, you see a lot of
especially
R-Classes.
downtown.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
Honestly, at that point, I would do like a caravan or, something along those lines, even like an excursion.
Yep.
Well, I'm still thinking about having a little bit of speed because you're still escaping from the 5.0. You still need something to.
Well, here's the thing.
Exceed their-
Consider this. There are not many vehicles that can outrun radio.
Yeah.
So if you don't count that, there are not a lot of vehicles that can outrun helicopters.
Yeah.
So if you rule that out as well, pretty much everything else that's going to be in pursuit of you is speed limited to under 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So really all you have to do is maintain 101 for longer than them.
But I thought the new shows were the Interceptors were.
If they're pursuit editions, I think they're like speed limited to like 140.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a higher governor than like the street cars, the police editions do, and then
Right.
And some of them depending on which police package it is, they've got
Right.
different governors too. Because I had to talk to a dealership one time about, well, this police interceptor, they're bringing it to us because they couldn't maintain such and such speed for long enough for this high speed pursuit, and it's supposed to be this model that goes this fast for this long, and it was like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Right.
Oh.
Well, moving on.
I like the idea of cars being rated like watches. This vehicle is able to perform at top speed for X amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But
I mean, this is really some thinking because you could go a couple of different ways here. You could go camouflage. You could blend in with your current terrain and kind of wait out the storm, or you could go for jackrabbit speed and you could get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you are apprehended. So there's a couple of different ways you can play it. I don't know which. I mean, I guess my answer kind of was both. But
Yeah. So
depending
kind
on
of
which direction you
mind-
want to
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see in more affluent areas, E63 and R63, perfect. I mean, like the Taurus or an Interceptor
Yeah.
of some kind or a show, right? I mean, that's a great idea as well.
Yeah.
A truck. I mean, how many white F-150s? I mean, Brandon drives an 05 F-150, a
He
white
does.
extended cab.
Yep.
That thing blends in.
Yep.
I
I
actually
mean-
really like this question as well too, because it really made us think.
Yeah.
Really did.
Yeah.
We had to kind of think about it. And now everything we have just said has, one, put us on a government watch list. Two,
That's happened a long time ago.
fair. You don't even know the half of the shit that's been recorded that I've said. Anyhow, and two, we can't do that. Is they're going to be like, oh, well, you said on this podcast you were going to use an R63, and here you are in an R63 robbing a bank. So,
Meanwhile, there I am with a helicopter.
wow,
I use jetpack as my mode of transportation.
lol, wrong cheat code.
Hey,
Why is there
God mode.
Why is there a boat chilling in the middle of I-15 without a trailer anywhere to be found? Lol, wrong cheat code.
Sorry.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, it was up, down, left, right, circle, square, start, select, not up, down, right, left, square, circle, select, start. I'm sorry. I thought I was getting the dirt bike. My bad.
Just wanted the dirt bike, man.
Just wanted the dirt bike.
The derp bike.
That's another.
The dirt bike bandits.
Yeah, a
Thank
bike
you,
would
Mikey.
be a bad option either.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I mean,
That's
obviously
another thought.
you can't bring your homies.
Yeah. Well, so then
but
you'd
if
have to have a
everybody
fleet
has
of them,
one.
right? Yeah, you'd have to several of them.
But at the same location, same deal with the Chenoweth. You can have just a fleet of Chenoweths.
And that's
Well,
true.
but the bikes, though, you could split up the money. You could
Yeah.
split. You had four guys.
Every
four
guy with a backpack and let's go.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got some interesting friends that have told me stories about where they have dipped the cops on their fast motorcycles,
Right.
Going
I mean,
down side streets and
everybody
alleys
with-
and whatever. Yeah, I'm sure everybody has that story about some guy on a
Well, I
crotch
think
rocket or something.
everybody that has a motorcycle probably has
Yeah.
that story.
That's
Oh,
true. Yeah.
Yeah, at least a fast one. I mean, Harley guys need not apply.
That's, yeah.
You can hear them everywhere.
Yep. Surreptitious is not something a Harley guy is.
Exactly.
It looks
Wow.
so fucking dumb.
That was.
Yes.
You do look dumb.
Oh, Zach.
My name's Zach.
Never change.
Wow.
Anywho, so that was fun, and that was
Yeah.
also brought to you by Cam Autoswag. CamAutoswag.com.
Damn right.
You need to buy T-shirts,
Hats.
yeah, bags.
We're getting into springtime, allegedly. Now is the perfect time for the cam hoodie.
It snowed today. Fuck Utah.
Asterisk third winter.
I thought you were going to say something about bro tanks or something.
It's
Don't
third
make
winter
us.
of the sixth seed.
Yes, there it is. Got it. Anywho, yeah, you can get all kinds of cool stuff over there at CamAutoswag.com. It supports us, so
Yeah.
why wouldn't you? Okay, so you asked a question this week, didn't you?
Yeah, I just wanted people to guess who our guests were and or tell us stories that we missed. Didn't get a lot, but Zach has a story.
Oh, I was going to say, was that a guess Dr. Seuss?
That joke is bad, and you should feel bad.
Zach, tell your story.
Okay, so my goal for this weekend was to test drive two cars.
What were they?
A Focus ST, Focus RS and Edge ST. I've already driven the Focus and the Fiesta STs and liked them and thought I would finish out the family tree, I guess you would say. And I went to the Ford dealership, which on their website said they had a Focus RS, and of course I'd have an Edge ST because new dealership. They did not have the RS. It was actually an ST.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I felt lied to, but whatever. It's a simple mistake. Some lot tech fucked up or some shit. I don't fucking know. And then I'm
No,
sitting-
that's exactly how they get simpletons like you onto the lot and get you into an Edge ST.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there talking to them like, hey, I'm interested in driving an Edge ST. And they're like, yeah, we have a couple of them on the lot, and a couple different packages, different options, different colors. We would love for you to drive one. I said, oh, cool. Let's go take it out for a test drive. Started asking about some of my financial stuff, and I BS'd some of it, but I was like, yeah, I'm making good money, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, well, this is your first car? And I'm like, no, I've owned more cars, but this is your first bank loan. I go, yeah, but I can get approved for this. I'm qualified. Bullshit, but whatever. And he goes, well, we're not going to be able to sell you that car.
Okay.
All right.
I want to test drive it. Yeah, we're going to be unable to sell you that car.
That's not what I'm asking for.
That's not what I'm asking for, exactly. And I was like, well, what does it take for me to drive this car? Well, we just don't hand the keys out to anyone for our performance vehicles.
Hold on. They're like showing you the jewels and then scooping it away when you want to drive an Edge.
Yes. And I said,
I bet all you got to do is be sweet to some middle-aged soccer mom in the mall parking lot and get to do donuts in her Edge ST.
Yes. And I was like, well, I'm only here to drive an Edge ST. If you are going to be unable to provide that for me, I will go elsewhere. That is what I want to drive right now. Well, we're going to be able to sell you one. I said, okay, then I'll be leaving then. Hold on. Walks up, gets 2 managers. Not 1, 2 managers. Hair slicked back, nice tie, nice suit. Walk over, explain the same thing to me in a different tone. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, we're happy to show you some options that would fit your budget. I didn't tell you my budget. You don't know what my budget is. We walk out, 2010 Civic. Base model.
Oh, yeah. They were just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
Or you.
Then I was like, that's not what I want. Well, how about this automatic FRS?
No.
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 So I immediately told them to go fuck themselves after they told me to go fuck myself. And I went and drove a 2016 Q50 from a private seller. And it was fun. I get there, he shows me all the features, tell me where the paint chips are. And he throws me the keys and I go, hey, you coming with me? And he goes, no, you're going to have more fun if I don't come with you.
Okay.
So he
Sounds like a
knows
rad dude.
exactly why he bought a Q50 in the first place.
Oh,
He
yeah.
knows the score.
Yep. So highway
so the brake
on-ramps.
pads are a little thin.
Yeah.
Oil change is done on time. Got it.
So I hop in it, set the seat all the way back, turn the butt warmer on, crank up some tunes, hit the highway on-ramp, did some triple digits, came back, and he goes, well, that was surprisingly fast. So take it for longer. I go, no, I went pretty fast. So here you go.
All right.
Nice.
So then I went to go to a different car lot, and they had 2 Volkswagen
GTIs,
GTIs.
right?
There you go. Yeah, GTIs.
Yeah.
One of them was all Hoonigan stickered up, and I was like, it smells like vape. There's the film on the window,
Ooh.
a poorly wired subwoofer in the back,
Yes.
and I'm like, let's go drive it. I've never driven one before. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we can't let you drive that car. The deal hasn't been finalized yet. So I walk a little bit further down the lot. They have another white one. A little bit better condition, has some mods done to it, very tasteful, very clean, a lower miles. They actually wanted less for it too, which I thought was surprising. Maybe I thought the mods were brought the price down. Sorry, we can't let you drive that one. The deal's not finalized yet.
Okay.
So that makes not 1, but 2 GTIs,
In the same lot.
Mark 7s, with goodies, allegedly,
Yeah.
that they didn't own.
But they have them priced to sell already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Price
They're
to
already
sell.
stickered with pricing on it.
Awesome.
So, and I went to, actually, I think, then I went to CarMax, just because CarMax.
Yep.
And they had an S300, I think, or was it C300? I can't remember which one it was. That was already sold. But they had an E350 Sports Edition on their lot. And so I was like, oh, I'll take that for a drive. After making a joke about trying to drive the Cayman on their lot, and they're like, oh, you actually want to drive the Cayman? Let me look at the keys for you.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, shit. Another day. I'll come back for the Cayman. So I drove the E350. It was a nice car. He didn't let me really open it up. It wasn't very fun. But it was whatever. Then I drove 2016 528. That car's fast. I was thoroughly surprised. In sport mode, it puts you in your seat.
Damn.
Really?
I also scared the lot tech in it.
Attaboy.
There we go.
The highway on ramp right next to where you work, Dave.
Oh.
On a Saturday, coming on the ramp, and then if you're on the far west side lane, how it merges weird right there.
Yeah.
So I realized that's coming up, and so I just down a gear, and just merged 3 lanes over. And he's like, "Oh, hold on," and I'm like, merging at 90s, okay, it's fine. And then the car that I actually want to buy now. I'm going to test out some more cars, but after everything I've driven, this is what I like the most. A, because it has ass coolers. ass coolers are the greatest thing on this planet.
They're fantastic.
Yes. GS350.
Oh.
Yes. Okay.
GSs are actually kind of nice.
I was
Yeah, I like
thoroughly
GSs.
surprised. Got it super nice. It fit really well. The infotainment system made obvious sense. I got my phone paired in 2 minutes. So of course on our drive we listened to "Ride with Me" by Nelly, and the lot tech was jamming with me,
Damn.
singing every word. And
As
then
he should.
As next song on the list, I didn't choose it, but it came up, was "Rollin'" by Limp Bizkit.
Perfect.
We
There we
rolled.
go.
Oh my.
So currently, if everything works at the bank, I will be trying to acquire a GS350.
Nice.
I also want to go drive a GSF because
Have you looked at like LS430s too?
I haven't seen any in any car lots, but
That's like one of my favorite interiors of all time for like luxury.
Oh,
Probably my favorite VIP car because not only do you have like you can get them with massaging seats, heated and cooled seats, but you can also get reclining, massaging, and heated seats in the back as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they get pretty fancy.
yeah.
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
they're fantastic.
They get really well geared up.
I might need your help with this one, Dave. But there was a car I looked at. It was on KSL. It was It was a Lexus 600, something 600.
600.
It was something 600.
There's probably a
I saw one of those, and it was like crazy. I was like, oh wait, like touchscreen in the back seat. Like for an it was surprising. I'm gonna pull it up so I can find it.
Is it a Mercedes?
No, it wasn't a Mercedes. It was a Japanese car, 4-door.
So,
Yeah.
so
it
Lexus
was like
does their numbers based on engine size.
Yeah,
Kinda.
it's-
You
yeah,
could
for the
you
most
could
part.
like I mean the only thing with a 6 that I could think of would be like an LS 460 or
No, they had
Yeah.
they had an LS 600.
Did they?
Yep. Oh, yeah, it was
That's cool. I've
LS600.
never seen an LS600.
yeah.
Really?
I'm gonna see if I can find it real quickly. Because it was like kind of nice actually, and they didn't want much for it, but it's a little bit too older than what I wanted. LS. It might be already sold. Yeah, LS 600.
Oh, okay.
wow,
Shit, I
really?
was wrong. Cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never heard of it, so that's
it's
new.
a giant boat.
Oh yeah, it's a behemoth.
Interesting. I mean, sounds like a good time.
Oh, those. Okay.
Oh, wow. That is
Hell yeah.
wow.
Yeah. I've seen those.
That's
Yeah,
intense.
those interiors are awesome.
Like that would be a cool VIP car, and it's just absolutely giant. But I want something a little bit newer than that.
Yeah.
And also, what engine does it have? It's a hybrid V8.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
That makes sense. So it's probably the LS 460 but with hybrid.
And they call it the
Stuff.
LS600H
Interesting.
or something.
The more you know.
Yeah, 600H. Yeah.
So, more or less, drove some cool cars, want a new car, also go fuck yourself Ford dealership in Draper.
There we go.
Which Ford dealership in Draper?
The one across from the Toyota Car Malone, one where Matt works at.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I think that is also a Miller.
Is it?
Probably.
I think that's a Miller
Huh.
Ford
Yeah.
dealership.
But it's funny, they're like,
I think that's where they moved when they closed down their 90th.
oh, maybe it makes
location.
sense. Yeah, because it's also a Lincoln dealership as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take my mom in there next time and be like, my mom wants to buy this car.
You know, it's funny is when my brother and I were still in high school, my brother was at the Audi dealership with my mom. My mom was looking at buying back in like 2007-ish, the Audi Q whatever SUV.
Yeah.
And it was right when the R8 came out. So they had an R8 sitting in the showroom floor. My brother was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, oh, it's locked. Can you guys unlock it for me? And the salesman was kind of being snooty about it. And so he's like, well, we don't unlock this. He's like, well, how do you let people take it for test drives? Like, oh, people don't test drive this. They buy it if they want it. And so he finally convinced the guy to unlock it, but he tried to tell him, like, you can't hop in it. So my brother hops in anyway before the guy can say anything. And the guy's freaking out, like, you got to get out of the car. You can't do that. You can't sit in it. And my brother was like, why? It's on your showroom. Like, do you want to sell this or not? And, my brother's just kind of messing around, whatever. And so my mom sees that, the sales manager's coming over and the salesman, they're both freaking out. My mom comes over and goes, well, how much does this cost? And, how much money it was at that time, like $80,000 or something. And she's like, oh, how much horsepower? You know what, Tanner? I think we can get you a car with more power for that price range. Come on, let's go back over to this other dealership. And like the sales manager and the salesman are like,
They
wait.
probably were fumbling over themselves.
Oh, God.
And you got to imagine, my mom isn't like, she's not real flash or anything, but she's got a nice Coach purse, and my parents do pretty well, so they could. Oh no, this family has money. We just lost this huge sale, and it was the funniest thing to see because these guys are tripping over themselves trying to get them. Wait, come back, come
Wait.
back.
That's awesome.
Damn.
I wish I had that kind of clout.
Me too.
I walk into a dealership and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, the bus station is over there."
It's just somebody furiously pushing a button on the underside of a desk.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So the other thing I did,
Silent alarm is just going off everywhere.
the thing I did too is every time I went got in a car with somebody, I asked them, "Do you have any fun test drive stories?" Because those are always the best stories ever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, no one had any stories of like high speed chases or like the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But the guy at CarMax was a weird gentleman, but that's beside the point.
He's working at a CarMax.
Yeah. And he goes, "The cops are the worst." And I'm thinking, you guys get cars pulled over all the time? He goes, no. They come in here and they want to drive whatever vehicle they want in whatever manner they want to drive them in. And we just simply can't allow that. And I tell them, "No, you can't do this. You might get pulled over." And he goes, "No, my buddy's the sheriff over there. We're fine."
That's awesome.
I mean, I
That's
guess so.
funny. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't see that being an issue, but okay.
Okay, then.
But also the guy at the Larry H. Miller dealership, the one I drove the cars at, he did not care about which manner I drove the vehicles in.
Of course you didn't.
The old knee was freaked out when I made the 3-lane merge.
Three-lane merge.
At 90.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, okay.
All right.
Let's see. Did we get any?
Nope.
We didn't get anything.
Did anybody guess who the guest was gonna be, or did anybody?
I think
I didn't
Derek-
even guess.
Derek Edgington did on Instagram.
What did he say?
Crazy.
Oh, he got it.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that takes away the flavor.
yeah, I just think through the contextual clues of you being in town.
Yeah. And I usually try and keep, like, me being in town, like, under wraps. Like, some of my friends are like, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you post on Facebook?" I'm like, well, like, being in the 886 community, I run one of the, a larger Facebook group. And so people from all over, not only the U.S., but all over the world add me. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. It's a Corolla guy, so I'm adding him back and whatever. And then, then I realize I'm going out of town. If I say, well, I'm not going to be in town for the next however long, I go, you know what? It's probably not a good idea to say I'm not going to be home, just because in case somebody locally is like, oh, I know where he lives, I'm going to go, break into his house or whatever. I'm just being a little cautious about it. So I said a few things in some groups that I was going to be in town, but I'm surprised Edgington picked up on that.
Yeah.
He's on Facebook more than I thought he was, I guess.
He's out there creeping.
Yeah, he is.
Steady creeping.
I felt really dumb because I saw you.
Uh-huh.
And I thought in my head maybe you were leaving or you're in town just for that night or something. Because I told him to his face, "I'll make sure I give you a shout out on the podcast."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a good laugh about that. I was like, yeah, that'd be great.
That'll be fun.
And now I have egg on my face.
You also have a luchador door mask.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yep. Well, Devin, tell us about yourself. How are the Carolinas treating you?
It's I lived here in Utah for a while. I miss Utah a lot. I went from Utah to Michigan. Working for Ford, I got recruited from college to go work for them in Michigan, and I got a job that took me out to South Carolina. And it's interesting seeing the different cultures in each place. And as much as I really enjoyed the history in Michigan, I'm really enjoying the beach and the sun, in Myrtle Beach. It's pretty great.
Not that brutal, oppressive winter that they have.
Yeah, and it's funny is like in the off season between drifting, a bunch of my friends have gotten Assetto Corsa, and so I get online with them a couple times a week, and I play a couple hours on Sunday, a couple hours on Tuesdays, and we get on and play, and I'm like, man, don't you guys have stuff to do? Like it's nice. I kind of want to go to the beach, and like, I hate you because it's like -30 here. I'm like, oh, that's right. I forget. You guys live in Michigan.
Sucks to suck, nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like, hey, we're experiencing our third week of rain in Utah.
Yeah. Well, and it
or
rains
it's deceivingly bright outside.
Yeah, see, and it's like that a lot in the Carolinas also, because we get hurricanes and stuff.
Well, right.
And so, being right there on the ocean, it rains a lot, and it's humid and whatever, which the humidity and hurricanes, I gotta say, are the two things that are the hardest to get used to, and maybe the only two negatives I've faced about living in the South.
Okay.
That's about it. Everything else has been pretty swell.
Humidity and God trying to wipe you off the face of the earth aside.
Yeah. Well, and
which, it worked in your favor because your house was really close to the the coast, and it's fine.
Yeah.
All your stuff is okay.
Yeah, it was funny because we bought the place we rented, right? So we bought the house a couple months ago, and when we were renting, like, I was trying to find a place to figure out, make sure that we were high enough elevation, we were far enough away from the water that we weren't going to flood, but it's like you can't know exactly where to live until you've, like, experienced a hurricane. And I'm really grateful that everything worked out all right because we're just far enough away from the coast. We're a couple miles inland.
Yeah.
And then we're also a couple miles from the rivers and the Intracoastal Waterway and then everything that drains into the ocean. So when a hurricane hits, you've got to, the first thing you got to worry about is the wind. It's essentially like a giant tornado that comes in from the coast. And so you got to worry about that destroying your home. But the next thing you got to worry about is the flooding that lasts for several weeks afterwards.
Right.
And so, I got friends that their houses were under 10 feet of water. Like one of the drift events we did out there was essentially like it was like an extra $10 or something per person because it was all going to charity to help one of the local drifters because his house was under 10 feet of water.
Gotcha.
It's the second time it had flooded because of hurricanes. Like, man, that's just crazy. Like,
so note to self: put house on stilts.
Yes. Yep.
Got it.
And just, they have pretty good, like, flood zone maps.
Right.
And it took me a little bit to figure it out. And when we were looking for places, like, we're just renting. It's okay. If the house ends up underwater, it's all good. It's not a big deal because it's not our house. But then as we bought a house, we started looking at the flood maps quite a bit more closely. And I realized, like, oh, you know what? We're in a good area. Like,
nice.
We're in a Cat 4 flood zone. So unless a Category 4 hurricane comes through Myrtle Beach, like, we're pretty set. But if a Category 4 hurricane comes through any city, the whole city's wiped out anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Fair. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about the drift stuff out on the East Coast. Give some flavor.
So, it's cool because I was involved with drifting here in Utah.
Right.
Right. This is when I was in college, so, like, I was on a college budget to bring my car out for one event, and something like I couldn't afford to rebuild it properly, like with a new oil pump when I rebuilt the engine. So, of course, I'd grenade the first event.
Yeah.
I'm like, crap, and I don't have the budget to rebuild it until next year. So I'd come and I'd volunteer and help run things.
Right.
And then moving out to Michigan, it was interesting seeing the difference. Drifting is drifting. It doesn't matter where you go.
Right. That is the nice thing about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, whenever there gets to be too much drama, it seems like all of a sudden the drift scene, like, reimagines itself, right? So in Michigan was the Midwest Drift Union, and they didn't have any grassroots events. And for me, it was like, dude, I'm not a Pro-Am driver. I can't drive any events here. And so I asked, like, hey, is there any grassroots events? And then that kind of took off, and right at that time, there was a bunch of drama with a bunch of the local guys in Michigan and MDU. Just some bad blood and miscommunication. And then MDU kind of slowed down a bit, and MI Drift became a thing. And all it is pretty much fun events, just bashes. Every single event is a bash. It starts at noon and goes till midnight.
Nice.
It's awesome.
I'm taking notes for Salt City Drift.
Gotcha.
By the way.
Yeah, and they're great people that run it. I mean, the guys that I drift with on Assetto Corsa, one of them is one of the organizers, and it's awesome because when he's out there drifting, he's helping give everybody pointers. And when I'm on Assetto Corsa, when I first got going on it, he's following behind me going, okay, hang on, you entered that in the wrong spot. Okay, let's finish this lap. Now follow me, and I'll show you how to enter this corner, and giving me feedback along the way. So it's an awesome community there. And then I come out to the Carolinas, and I got so used to drifting on, out here in Utah, we got big paddocks to drift on, and in Michigan there's a bunch of circle tracks with a big X center or something, so quite a bit of land. And then I get to Myrtle Beach, and I wasn't quite sure if we were in a good area for drifting, and I thought, there's a Myrtle Beach drift series, sweet, so I'll have a good place. And so I get out there for the first event, and we're in the infield of the Myrtle Beach Speedway, which is an old speedway. And the infield is only like half paved, the other half of it is grass, and so it's a really small area.
Okay.
So I was really worried about that at first, but it actually is pretty cool because, they do, like, Myrtle Beach Drift Series, it's a grassroots competition, and the nice thing about being there at the Speedway is that because it's a smaller area, it limits the amount of speed that you can get. So it helps kind of...
really favors smaller cars,
it does.
lower power cars.
Yeah, it handicaps cars it handicaps the high-powered cars, because there's some guys that come out to win that are competing in Pro-Am.
Right.
They don't have any limitations on that. So they come out in their high-powered cars. Like the first event that I went to last year, I'm driving my 200 horsepower Corolla against like an LS6 240 that was really well set up. But because the course was so tight and technical, I actually won I won that battle, and it was really cool.
Nice.
But it's interesting. The culture there, I think, is a little different because everywhere you go, you talk to people, oh yeah, I don't do autocross anymore, I don't do road coursing, I don't do drag racing anymore, I got into drifting because the people here are so much more welcoming,
Right.
I remember going, Rob Carlson came out to compete in MDU when I was still living in Michigan. He came out to the Streets of Detroit event. And he brought boxes of spare parts, and he's driving with somebody, he's competing against somebody and something breaks. So the other guy pulls into the pits and Rob pulls in right behind him. Hey, what do you need? I've got boxes of parts. Let's get your car fixed. I want to make sure that you're sorted so we can keep driving together because it's awesome. I want to compete against you.
Right.
And that's something that's so common, everywhere in drifting, right? And it's in Myrtle Beach, or at least in the South, you get a lot of guys that, NASCAR's from there. So they have this competitive nature to them. And so you get some, I think, a little more competitiveness, which can lead to a little more drama down there. But for the most part, I think the drift organization down there, the Myrtle Beach Drift Series, they realize that, so they try to find ways around it. And so instead of having the winners from previous years keep competing, they give, like this year, they gave all the previous winners like a judging slot. So
Okay.
they're judging the comp.
Nice.
So they do a couple of things to help out with that, and we're also doing quite a few more. Hopefully, we're doing more fun and practice days.
Okay, cool.
Like we just added I say we, like I'm one of them. I'm one of the guys that drives, and
You may as well be. You're the spokesperson that flew out to Utah to talk about it. Right?
Yeah, so it's cool because we've got this new venue that's it's essentially a giant parking lot from a closed down. I think it used to be like an amusement park of sorts.
Okay.
It's called Freestyle Music Park or something, and it's been closed down and kind of vacant. Somebody bought it. Last year we had a couple of test days there, and
Nice.
this year we're on. I think we're on US Drift, or part of the US Drift network or whatever this year.
Oh, okay. Wow, yeah.
And because of that, it allowed us to get in good with the new owner of it, and
Nice.
he's actually kind of excited to have us out there drifting. It took a little bit to find the right people to talk to, but they just at when Long Beach was going on, I was at a barbecue with some of the Myrtle Beach Drift guys, and they're like, "Hey, would you drive if we schedule an event like 2 weeks after our next one in May?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if it's at freestyle, that means I can maybe hit I'll hit third, maybe even hit fourth gear because of how big it is. Yeah, I'm in. Count me in. I need to learn more about high speed drifting.
Yeah,
That's
it's a good
where
way
we can do it.
stretch the legs in your car.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, right on. So, do you have any suggestions or maybe some helpful advice for those that want to get into drifting or those that are maybe struggling a little bit?
Yes, most definitely. This is something that, I love doing ride-alongs at drift events. It's like my favorite thing. I've got a magnet that I made for my car that goes in the passenger door that says your face here with an arrow pointing up.
Nice. Yes.
So, and I love it because I throw it on and people come over for rides and people who've never been into drifting before, they get in my car like, oh, this is so cool. Because, I drive a Hachiroku, not many people drift those anymore.
Right.
And so, and they love it, and then they talk, I'm like, man, this is so cool, I want to get into drifting. And I've, especially in Michigan, I had a lot of people like, well, I've got this old S10 truck sitting around, like, what if I drifted that? And I know you guys went over that, a little while ago about the...
Shout out to you, Sam Babler.
Yeah.
Yep.
As I was listening to that podcast, I was when he asked about it, I was driving in my car for work, and I as soon as the question came up, I'm sitting there going, no. But I know Dave was going to cover it. I built my car from a shell up, right? So I bought my Corolla for $300, non-running, from some guy in the middle of nowhere, like just outside of Kanab. I towed it home.
Definitely middle of nowhere.
Yeah, really middle of nowhere, and it was like. He wasn't even home when I looked at the car. And so I left him a note on their front door saying, hey, I want to buy your old Corolla. And a few weeks later, I was driving a Subaru at the time. The head gaskets blew. So I'm in my garage, like tearing apart the engine. I've got this, my phone's ringing from some number I don't recognize. I'm like, I normally don't answer this, but I feel like I should answer it. And so I pick it up and, hey, my name's Bert, and I got your note. You want to buy my old Corolla? And I was like, what is this guy talking? Oh, the 8.6. Like, heck yes. Like, yeah, totally. So, I bought it for really cheap, thinking this is a great deal, but it wasn't running. It was kind of rusty. I mean, not terrible, but it had been sitting in a field for 3 years. So I spent the better part of, 6 years, I think, getting the car sorted and drivable and driving well.
And this is through college and a college budget, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so, I was really struggling for a while, and as the thing that sucked about it is that I'm watching all these guys, all my friends that I've made, like, get really good at driving while I'm still building a car. Mm-hmm. And it was terrible because like it bummed me out. Like I was happy to be out there drifting. Like I loved being out there in the drift scene. I loved, helping out with the events and just being around it. Like the culture was just so awesome.
Right.
And then, but here I am, I'm not driving, and now, several years later, I'm finally at the point where my car is sorted, but all these other guys have moved on, or I'm on the other side of the country from them, so I can't drive with these guys that I wanted to drive with. So when people look at getting a new drift car, that's one thing I get asked a lot. Hey, what's a good car to start with? And I say, well, what you need to do is when you come out of these events, go look in the pits and see which car there's the most of.
Yeah.
And that's what you should start with. So the top cars right now are, obviously like a 350Z or G35, E36, E46. E46 has come down in price a lot.
Yeah, they're pretty much coming close to the floor now, and E36s are almost on the upswing.
Yeah. So, the two rules that I always tell people is, okay, buy something that's like a typical drift car and buy something that's running and reliable. Those are the two rules to finding a good drift car.
Yeah, I think people try too much to get something that's cheap and then end up spending more than what they would have otherwise on a nice running car, getting something cheap to work.
Yeah, exactly. And I did that with my 8.6, right? Even though an 8.6 is like a legendary drift car, in terms of like modern steering suspension, like I had to do a bunch of custom stuff to my car, and I'm a builder, so that's okay. I have the skill set to do it.
Right.
But for somebody else to build an 8.6 to drift like mine does, like you're spending thousands of dollars. Right, so I spent a ton of time and money modernizing the car essentially, and figuring out the correct steering and suspension geometry. I mean, I spent a lot of time on it, and it's kind of stupid. I look back, I'm like, you know what? I love the 8.6. I wish I would have bought that and kept it in the garage to build over time, while I bought something else that was running and reliable to drive, because I lost out on so much seat time, so much.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that everybody needs to focus on is getting out to drive, because, I mean, you don't know if you want to do drifting or not until you're actually out driving.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you spend 2 or 3 years or tens of thousands of dollars building something, and then you go out and in a half dozen laps, you're like, oh, well, this is horseshit. This sucks. I don't like this.
Yeah.
You're out all this time and money and effort.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It was probably like the coolest thing is like in Michigan, I came out to like the first event, and like one dude and a bunch of his buddies came out. And they loved going for rides with him. The next event, I saw like 3 of them in like an E36, the welded diff, and they were having a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Like stock suspension, stock steering, just a welded diff, and they were killing it.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing to see, and they loved it. And ever since then, they've kind of been building the cars, or they've gotten some other car that they really wanted and enjoyed more, but it was still a pretty typical drift car.
Right. I feel like it's the drive first, build later kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And for whatever stupid reason, I decided to do it the opposite. And I mean, looking
some
back,
of us learn harder than others. Yeah. Guilty.
Yeah.
As well.
And it's I look back and I wish I would have done it the other way, because like I see what like Take Luck and Scoundrels have been doing. Like when I met Blaze, he was driving a Miata. And he was like, killing it in me. I was like, man, this is so cool. And like, when I got into drifting was when like Stuckey and William Vincent, a few other guys were, Team D-Spare.
Right.
And they were doing some Pro-Am events. And I was like, man, this is so cool. And I looked up to those guys so much, and I still do. And I wish I would have had something running and reliable, because I look at how much time I've spent like getting seat time now. And I would have, if I would have done it, getting something instead of a shell, getting something I could drive immediately, I could have been driving with them before I moved to Michigan.
Right.
And so like now I'm like, I was kind of bummed. Like I came into town this week specifically because there was supposed to be a Salt City Drift event, and I was like, oh sweet, so I'm going to come out and I'm going to rent a car. I was going to rent somebody's G35 so I could get some seat
Collier's.
time. Yeah, I was going to rent Collier's G35 so I could get some seat time with with these guys I've looked up to for so long, because now I've got that driver mod where it needs to be, so I can drive with them.
Right.
And then, one thing led to another, and unfortunately the event got canceled, but that's okay, because we still got together with everybody for a barbecue. So.
Yeah, we had a good time. Yeah, we went up to Specialties Auto and checked out a bunch of cars. I left before the tech session happened. I imagine that was pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was neat. Every different drift series or drift organization does tech a little differently.
Right.
So in the Carolinas before, it was kind of lax. Not that it was dangerous, but, I got used to, like, out here and in Michigan, I mean, you pull your car up, they jack it up, they shake it down, they look for leaks, whatever. And in South Carolina, it was like, they come around, they'll kind of crawl underneath a little bit and shake you while it's on the ground and say, yeah, okay, you're good to go. Check everything they need to, but it wasn't as thorough or in depth. And it was cool to see, Hadlock went through, okay, this is a new owner at UMC, and they like us, and we want to make sure they still like us, so we're going to be even more thorough.
Right.
I mean, to the point where he's explaining, like, if there is any drip of fluid, like, if it's dripping, it needs to be fixed. And if it's dripping at the event, I don't know if I'll kick you off the track, but I'm going to tell you if that's not sorted for next time, like, that's not okay. I'm even talking about, like, if you have coolant in your car, dump it out. You need to put water and water wetter in there.
Yep.
Which is
that's one of the biggest things that we decided to focus on this year.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool, and it was cool to see that and to see how in-depth it is. And it's something I've been talking to the Myrtle Beach Drift Series guys about. Like, hey, like, if you want somebody to run tech and do something more thorough, like, I am 100%, like, I can do that. You know, I did state safety inspections here, and, I mean, with my automotive service background and all this stuff, you know, and what I do for work, like, that's not a problem for me. I will happily do that.
Right.
I'll do it in my house beforehand if you want me to. Like, I want to make sure everybody's safe.
For sure.
So it's cool to see. I like to see how Salt City Drift is evolving, you know, because when I first started out here is when it was still iDrift for a little bit.
Yeah.
When Innovative Garage was running it.
Yep.
And then transitioned to Salt City Drift. And,
Right. We still had it was Drift Utah specifically that was running events, and now it's Salt City Drift.
Yeah.
And yeah, things have kind of bridged out. It's great though. We've got a good season planned out here.
We have a good community as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing is,
Yeah.
you know, drifting is not an old sport by
No.
any stretch. Like it is only materialized probably within the last 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's only really gained popularity in the last 10 or 15 years here in the United States.
That's true. And you know, I look at how, like, the size of Salt City Drift, and it's still, I think, smaller than it was, like, the drifting was in Michigan and in the Carolinas. I think the big reason for it is that where we're doing drifting in Utah, there isn't really good spectating. But
Right.
in like Michigan
Yeah.
and Myrtle Beach, like, we have good spectator areas, and we have people that drive for like 2 hours just to come spectate, and it just
Right.
blows my mind. So I've got a spare helmet that, like, somebody's like, you know, I see him at the same, you know, the drift event for a couple times, like, hey, you been on a ride before? I'm like, no, I can go for a ride. I'm like, yeah, I've got a spare helmet, hop in.
Nice.
And I'm talking to him like, yeah, you know, I drove down from Timbuktu to come here to watch this. I just love doing this. I've never ridden in a car before. I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, this is great. Then we're going to get you, you know, we're going to get you right up close and personal.
Yeah. Well, you know, and being a new motorsport, I'm going to call it a motorsport even though people disagree.
Yeah.
Being new, you know, people don't know what it's about. People, they're kind of confused by it or they're intrigued by it. You know, I mean, if you've noticed in the last 10 or even just as recently as the last 5 years, car commercials have gone from, you know, sliding around or driving around these, you know, nice canyon roads and whatnot, showcasing these abilities, right? To now it's just raw power, tire smoke, sideways, noise.
Yeah.
You know, it gets you going. It's
It's
amps
really
you up.
cool to see that transition in marketing too. I mean, a big part of it is obviously Ken Block and Jim Conn. I mean, that just that was such a new thing for marketing in the U.S.
Right.
And it's cool to see that catching on everywhere else.
Yeah, no, and I think with marketing, with time, it's going to get big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's nice to be involved in it when it's still kind of small. I
Yeah.
want to see it take off. But
And, you know, that's something I'm trying to stay relevant and stay kind of involved, and so that, like, I have my Facebook page and Instagram, Dr. Garage, where I try and post drifting, you know, not only videos of me drifting, but I also try and post some technical stuff because I want to, like, stay involved in it. And so I started doing some, like, little tech talk things, and that's, you know, the 2 tips I have about drift cars. It's in a video I put together, and I see other bigger media names, like, really taking off with that same idea. And so,
right.
like, part of me is like, dang it, like, that was my idea. But then I see how they do it, and I'm like, you know what, like, you executed way better because I'm just some dude in his, you know, in his house just putting together GoPro videos versus you're actually a professional media outlet. So it's cool to see, you know, some of the ideas I have being pretty relevant with some of the big media guys and the big drift guys.
Well, it means you're doing something right.
Yeah, I'm doing something right now. If I could just figure out how to get trending and stuff, right? How do I get paid for YouTube videos?
Right.
That's where we're all at right now.
I think we're all subscribing to that method of thought right there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, sweet. Yeah. So, you know, again, like you said, Dr. Garage, you're at Dr. Garage. That's where you can find a lot of your super cool videos. I mean, you get pretty in-depth with quite a few things. I mean,
I'm
you kind of
linking that right
explain... Yeah, definitely follow that, Zach. But yeah, you know, you kind of throw things into layman's terms, and
Yeah.
you know, you don't get too crazy, but you explain it pretty well. And
I tell you what, like, I have to refilm things several times because, my profession is being an automotive, like, super technical expert. That's what I
Right.
do. And so I have to refilm and go, hang on, that wasn't quite simple enough.
You're like, wait, I got to dumb this
I
down.
got to dumb this down a bit.
Yeah.
And then I also have this tendency to, like essays, because there's just so much information I want to cram in there.
Right.
And so I have to figure out, okay, how can I boil this down to 5 minutes or less? Because I could talk about, like, I tried to make a video about, like, setting up your car's alignment based on your steering angle, and so I started doing it, and I realized, like, I was 20 minutes into it and was like, I can't do this in one 5-minute video. I've got to break it out into several sections. I mean, it's cool that, like, the stuff I've been doing with my car, how I'm setting up my steering suspension is to the point where I've got so much grip and got it so dialed in that I'm chasing down cars with double the horsepower. I'm like, man, this is sweet. But trying to explain it, man, it takes such a long time.
Yeah. It's definitely, and I think a lot of builders would kind of understand.
Yeah.
Some drivers would probably understand, but the people that are just getting into it, probably it's a little over their caliber.
Yeah, and so it's, as I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with Dr. Garage, I had a friend of mine ask, like, so what is your product? What are you offering?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? That's a good question. I don't really know, because I'm not really selling things. I'm just making videos that I think are cool, and hopefully other people think they're cool and useful as well.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, sweet. Well, yeah, okay. Do we have anything in? I mean, we just bumped the 55-minute mark, so.
No, I don't think we've. I mean,
Do you want me to tell a
I have a
story
question.
about? Oh, go ahead.
Yay or nay, In and Out?
I used to be yay, and now I have things I prefer more. It's not bad, but it's not as good as I remember.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
Yeah, so there's some local joints, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so we don't have In-N-Out on the East Coast.
Right. It's like, I think,
It has to be-
Colorado or something is like the furthest east it goes or something
like
It's
that.
an
Yeah.
infection. It's slowly working
Well,
its
it
way.
has to
Better
be-
stay west of the Mississippi.
So I have some friends that still work at In-N-Out, like super high up as managers. And I was like, so why isn't there, like, as soon as I moved to Michigan, it's like, I'm craving In-N-Out. I couldn't find one. I'm like, oh, there isn't one. And so I asked them, I was like, why isn't there In-N-Out anywhere else except for the West as well? Everything has to be within a 1 day's drive of the headquarters in California, so that way everywhere can have fresh ingredients.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
all right.
fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
understandable.
Okay. But there's still nothing like a good Southern greaseball burger.
I actually had a great burger recently, Tony Burger. Never
been
Ogden. Surprisingly good.
I miss Scuds in Ogden. Scuds, I think that's what it's called. It's awesome. Like, just probably the best burger I've ever had. And supposedly, like, the guy who owns it, like, he starts a business or starts a restaurant for a little while, makes enough money, and he goes, nah, I don't want to keep it open when it shuts it down. And he'll open up another one a couple years later or something. It's kind of weird. But fantastic burgers. It was right there next to where, like, Warren Craft Burger is on Washington.
Oh,
Right off
okay,
22nd.
Yeah.
So it was
It's been a
like,
minute since I've been up that way.
yeah, so it was like right next to it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's no longer there.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
That's just my question for everybody.
Okay.
We've got. We used to have a couple more. We used to have like.
Trent had them.
Yeah.
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 I think
It's probably before my time.
It's.
I think-
it's whatever.
I think we've done all right.
Do you want me to tell a story about Nopi real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead and hit us.
Yeah,
With,
real
hit us with some Nopi
All right.
garbage.
So if you guys know what I mean, have you guys seen the Mischief videos like about
Yeah.
Nopi back in the day?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So Nopi used to be this awesome like a compact car show, and people came from all over the East Coast. Like Dustin Werles of Mischief, he posted a little like write up of like, you gotta think like this is before GPS, before Facebook, before really social media, and people were driving hours to come to this car show, and it was so cool. And Nopi is still a thing. Last year, so the car show was ran by like Nopi Auto Parts store, and last year they closed down, but they still do the car shows. But it's no longer a car show, and it's like a squat truck show. So I'm not sure if you guys have squat trucks out here. It's kind of like the California Lean, but
I mean, it's some of the Draper kids.
Yeah,
they're
thinks
from
that would catch
Central
on down there.
California.
Yeah. So they take it to the extreme in the Carolinas, and it is really dumb, in my opinion.
Oh,
Sorry
is
if you
it
like
the-
if you like squat trucks. I'm sorry. I think that trend is really stupid.
It's like they spent all this time to put the lift on the front of the truck, and then they left the stock 2-wheel drive shit on the back.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the serious squat trucks will lower the back.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think it's anyway. But so that's kind of what Nopi's become. But they've kept drifting going at Nopi for a while. And I'd heard some drama about drifting last year, but it was going to be like the same price as a 1-day event for 3 days of driving. I was like, heck yes, like I'll drive. So, I pay my entrance fee, I take off work on Friday, so Friday's the practice day, and then Saturday is supposed to be another practice day and more like a demo, so people come do rides or whatever for the car show, entertainment for the car show,
Right.
and there's supposed to be a drift competition on Sunday.
Okay.
So Sunday was going to get rained out, so they're going to move the drift comp to Saturday, and so, there's hundreds of people there, well, thousands of people, there's over 1,000 trucks there for this show, and so we got an hour and a half into driving, so we started at 9, and at 10:30, I'm about to pull out on track, and I see one of the Nopi staff with a golf cart sitting in the chute with a bunch of trucks behind him, the chute to come out on track, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, he's not about to pull out on track and park these guys there. And I couldn't get my car going fast enough to block the golf cart from pulling, from everybody coming on track, and so they parked the trucks on track and shut us down before we could compete. And, like, the competition was for money. Like, first place took $800, and there's only 8 drivers, so I was like, hey, I got a chance of winning something.
Yeah.
But so they shut it down, and I had just gotten done with like a couple like awesome back-to-back tandem runs where probably my best runs ever. Like, it was awesome, and so I had all this adrenaline pumping. And when they shut down the track, started parking trucks, like I get into my car, I'm running over there, like yelling at the guy, and he's like one of the top guys in Nopi, and I'm letting him have it. And then I realized like my pit crew was a couple of kids from my church, and I was like, oh, you know what? I should probably set a good example for them. The guy probably would have heard a few more choice words from me if I didn't think about that, but. Yeah, I think Nopi is kind of declining quite a bit from what it used to be, and even with drifting, like I don't think anybody's going to support the drifting anymore until they make it right. We were supposed to compete for money, and they shut it down, and it was a huge bummer. And it hurt, I think, the drift scene and everybody else there too. We had people coming up like, "Hey, I was going to go for a ride. What happened?" "Oh, they shut us down." Like, you can go yell at them if you want to, but there's nothing I can do. So. It's pretty crazy. I was really excited to be a part of Nopi because of the history, and I was like, man, this is going to be so cool. I remember watching the Mischief videos, and then when that happened, it was like, man, like, what a letdown.
Yeah, it's kind of a buzzkill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, what do you think you're going to be doing in the future? Like, what are your plans?
What are you doing when you grow up?
Yeah, yeah, what he said.
Well, I want to keep doing stuff with Doctor Garage. I don't know if it really take off. I think for me, I'm hoping that this year, because I've learned so much from like driving on Assetto Corsa. If anybody's wondering, like, Assetto Corsa is a huge, it's just an awesome opportunity to get some seat time in the off season or between events. It really does apply directly to drifting. It doesn't feel exactly like a car because you don't feel the G-forces, but I put in so many hours in the off season that I came right out of the gate with like being able to like maintain proximity to other cars and maintain proximity to walls and stuff.
It's muscle memory and flexing on quick reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So like left foot braking, like learning how to left foot brake and when to actually use the handbrake, I learned from Assetto Corsa. So I'm hoping that in the future that maybe this year I'll take a podium. My goal for this season is to take a podium in at least one of the Myrtle Beach Drift Series events.
Nice.
But moving forward, I think that. Stay drifting, keep having fun, and figure out, I've got a kid on the way, so my wife and I are trying to figure out how to keep drifting a family affair. So,
nice.
That's what we're kind of planning on. And
there's a lot of people that, in our age group that are kind of doing that thing.
Yeah.
You're old.
I know people your age with 3 children. Don't you start that. Exactly.
Damn.
Yeah, just put your head down there, Zach.
Some people make it work. Like, Brandon and Amber just had their second kid.
Yep. And, seeing him at the barbecue the night was awesome because his son was in the NICU for a while,
almost a month, if I remember right.
And he finally got to take him home, and so it was so great when I saw Brandon. I was like, dude, I'm so happy for you. Like,
yeah,
like I hope I don't have to go through that. My son's going to be due in August. I'm like, man, like I can't imagine the kind of stress that would cause.
Right. Him being a business owner and a driver and a builder and
everything.
Yeah, exactly. And a dad
on
top of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to hear that it's still going to be a big part.
I think I'm lucky that my wife likes drifting.
Yeah.
Like
everybody is so lucky.
It's true. It was so funny is like how I convinced her to come out was like I came, she came out to a couple Salt City Drift events when we were dating, and I threw in a couple cars. Like, it's kind of fun, it was cool. But in Michigan, we had the first big drift event was like it's an hour and a half away, and it's right next to an outlet mall. And so I was like, hey, Katie, I'm gonna go out drifting. You come on out and go shopping, and then come over and say hi. Maybe go for a couple rides or whatever. I get one free person to enter. With
Nice.
my entry fee. So you might as well come on over. And she's like, oh, okay. So she went shopping, and this was a noon to midnight event. So she comes out at probably like 1 or 2 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, okay, yeah, maybe we'll go for a ride or two. And she hopped in the car, and then she never got out.
Nice.
And we stayed until about 10:30, and then I realized this was before I had a trailer, so I'm driving this Beams Corolla that I'd only been driving it for probably I'd driven it to Utah and back for that one drift event,
Right.
and then I came back out. This was the next event after that, and I was like, you know what? I still have quite a few bugs to work out on the car, so driving it home at night is probably pretty sketchy. We should leave now instead of at midnight.
Yeah.
But it was great because she loved it, and so every single drift event, if she can, if there's nobody else asking for rides, she's sitting shotgun. But
Nice.
this season she's been sitting out because we thought being pregnant and going for rides in a drift car probably maybe not the best idea.
It could pose some issues.
Could be a problem.
Yeah, so
Better to
she's-
be safe than.
Yeah, exactly. But she still comes out and supports it, and we've made quite a few friends out there, so she comes out and talks to the friends and
Nice.
hangs out, and it's great.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right.
All right, guys. Shall we wrap this thing up then?
I think we ought to. I think now is as good a time as any.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's recap. You can support us, CamAutoswag.com. Buy our T-shirts, buy our hats, buy our sweatshirts, all the good stuff. Again, that's CamAutoswag.com. Support our supporters. Let's see. Steady Broke, steady.broke on all social media, steadybroke.com.
Yep.
Be sure to use CamAuto15 as your coupon code at checkout. Gets you 15% off your whole order. Just because you're broke doesn't mean you can't live your dreams. Steady Broke. Let's see. Where can you find us?
We are at Cam Automag on all the social medias. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace.
Every, not MySpace.
No,
Is that still a thing?
It probably is still alive.
it's still around.
Oh man.
Do you know who we could ask, though?
Who's that?
I totally forgot his name. I'll suddenly shit. Ignore me.
Wow.
Great input, Zach.
Leapt in there. Man.
Fuck.
Yeet.
Anyway.
There it is. That's the first time we've used Yeet.
Yeet. Yeet. Yeet. Yeet. Yeet. Yeet.
Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/CamAutomag.
Let's see. What is the $5 level? Gets you the access to Cam Shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Gets you access to early access content.
Ross!
There it is.
Settle your ass down.
Better,
Anywho.
better late
You
than
know
never, I
he
guess.
has a MySpace.
Probably does. Raw XD.
Rawr.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about, too. Just by saying that, I'm like, yep, I know which Ross that is.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Shout out to you, Ross. You're a badass. I know you're not listening, but you're still a badass.
Follow Devin and his cheeky shenanigans at Dr. Garage.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
is Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube's.
There we go.
Nice.
I'm not on Twitter. Facebook is where I post most of the stuff. So if you guys have questions or want me to answer stuff or do a video about drifting tech stuff, just shoot me a message and let me know what you want. So I'll have something to put together.
Yeah, and we'll link you in the show description
Yep.
Sweet.
so people can follow you.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
Thanks.
that sounds like
I think it's pretty much it. So,
okay.
all right, for episode 184 of the Camcast, I've been Mike.
I've been Dave.
Even Zeke.
I've been Devin.
My name's Zach.
Me, Zeke.
Wow.
So really though, we should go to the East Coast sometime.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.